as an ad on Instagram, and he sent it to me and he asked me if I was a part of this campaign and why I didn't tell him about it. I said no, I was actually going to reach out to you about telling you that someone has used my image illegally or without my consent, and we need to do something about it. Since then, a bunch of people have sent me the image. It's been put out by a page on Instagram called 40% Sarkara. I think which is the campaign which is being run right now in Karnataka. And I was quite surprised and quite appalled that my images on my face has been used for this campaign. No one has contacted me or asked me about using my image or using my face for this campaign. So yeah, I just don't think it's right. I think it should be taken down.
But Akhil, since you expressed your disapproval, has anyone from the Congress reached out to you, or has there been any kind of clarification coming to you? And has the complaint already been filed that you spoke about?
No, we haven't yet filed the complaint. My lawyer is currently drafting the complaint as we speak on what charges need to be filed and who the charge needs to be filed against, whether it should be against the Congress party or whoever, because what he was saying is that it depends on who has put out the post. So he's still figuring that out, and we're going to file the complaint maybe later today. But since the time I put out the tweet, I have not received any communication from anyone from the Congress party as such. Bunch of people reached out to me on Twitter saying that, I should take some action and stuff like that. But yeah, no clarification from the Congress or anyone about taking the image down. Whoever has put the image down, whoever has put the image up, whether it's the Congress or anyone, I think that it should be done with consent. And I am an actor. This is my profession. So definitely for any citizen of our country, I feel it should be done with consent. That's it. It's nothing else.
Absolutely.
I don't want to criticize the matter or support any particular party in this. I just don't think it's correct.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Akhil, for joining us and giving us that clarification. He says legal action will be taken. Thank you. With that, let's move on in the bulletin. A fresh row has erupted between Uddhav Thackeray and the Shinde camp. This time around, it is Shinde's son who's in the center of the controversy, after NCP tweeted a picture that you can see on your screens of Shrikant Shinde, in which he can be seen sitting on the chief minister's chair. Shinde's son can be seen with a group of other officials, even looking at some of the documents. And now you have a clarification coming in from Shrikant Shinde himself. Times Now has spoken to him exclusively. This is what he says in his defense.
ये जो पिक्चर जो रिलीज की गई है वो मेरे घर की है, वो मेरे घर की पिक्चर है। वो घर के ऑफिस में मैं बैठा हूँ, मेरे चेयर पर मैं बैठा हूँ, कहीं पर मैं वर्षा पर या मंत्रालय में सीएम साहब के चेयर पर बैठा नहीं हूँ जहाँ से काम कर रहा हूँ। मैं मेरा काम कर रहा हूँ। ये जो व्यवस्था थी, जो बोर्ड दिख रहा है आपको पीछे, वो टेम्पररी व्यवस्था थी। आज जो वीसी होने वाली थी सीएम साहब की, उसके लिए जो है वो बोर्ड कोई तो अधिकारी ने पीछे ला के रखा था ऑफिसर में। मेरा काम कर रहा हूँ, मेरे घर में बैठा हूँ, मैं मेरे घर में नहीं बैठ सकता क्या? और ये कोई भी वर्षा निवास स्थान या गवर्नमेंट ऑफिस नहीं है जहाँ पर मैं बैठा हूँ।
Well, that's all we could pack in for you in this show. With that, it's time for India Up Front with our editor-in-chief, Rahul Shivshankar. Over to you, Rahul.
Thanks indeed, Meghna. Viewers, the bigger story, once again, on India Up Front. It is important that you don't get taken in by the spin of the left Lutyens ecosystem. Now, viewers, we are seeing a pattern emerge here. There have been attempts over the last few months to portray any sort of action demanding accountability as a witch hunt. Viewers, over the last few months, there have been raids by the Enforcement Directorate, there have been raids by the CBI, there has been action contemplated by the NIA. All of them have been shoveled under the larger rubric of vendetta. That the Indian state under Narendra Modi is only interested in stomping out any dissent, or, viewers, for that matter, any and every organization that speaks up for minorities. In fact, so incubated is this thought process now that reflexively whether it is attack on Hindus in Leicester or Birmingham, or viewers, plans by organizations that have what is now becoming apparent, a communal orientation, are all brushed aside as those militating against a hardline Hindutva. Now viewers, for years altogether, any attempt to scrutinize the activities of the radical group that the NIA has branded India's Taliban is seen as an assault on civil liberties of minorities. In fact, its ideological backers claim it's a socio-cultural organization devoted to minority uplift. But today, viewers, the Popular Front of India has itself exposed the hollowness of the narrative of those who support it. It's ironic. How can we say this, viewers? Think about it. A day after it was the subject of the largest ever simultaneous multi-located crackdown by India's premier anti-terror investigative agency, instead of opening itself up to scrutiny, going to a court of law to challenge perhaps the raids, the suitability of the raids, it has displayed its rank contempt for the idea of India itself. How are we saying this, viewers? The law is very clear. The High Court itself has laid it down that in Kerala there can be no flash strikes. In fact, if any strike is planned, at least 7 days notice has to be given. But viewers, the PFI, within 24 hours of its offices pan-India being raided, not only called for a hartal, but they didn't also stop at that. When they realized their call was not being honored, they resorted to terror to force this oppression upon the state and public. Across Kerala, PFI cadre vandalized state buses, attacked police, and targeted shop owners who dared to stay open. Not only was public and personal property under attack, but Times Now's team was targeted. Our news team. When we tried to report the violence, arson and anarchy, watch how our team was surrounded, threatened, intimidated, and this story is shared by hundreds of others, viewers. Just watch this glimpse of what happened today on the ground.
The entire glass, the front portion of the glass is entirely damaged.
West Road के पत्थर मारा था.
Everyone have moved out of this bus and you can see what is left.
बगैर कुछ कहना चाहेंगे आप?
The contempt for the law of the land forced the Kerala High Court to step in through a motto. It pulled up the police, the state administration, and also the Popular Front of India. But it was all a little too late, as you can see from these visuals, viewers. Not just contempt for the law, but the PFI also displayed contempt for community relations, carrying out targeted strikes at BJP and RSS offices in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Chilling visuals show a petrol bomb being hurled at BJP's office in Coimbatore. The police has confirmed the involvement of PFI cadre. Across in Kerala, which saw anarchy, the RSS office came under attack. Two bike-borne men can be seen charging at the office with a petrol bomb in hand before fleeing. Whether these were PFI cadre or not is a subject of investigation, viewers. But it may not be unlikely. Electronic gadgets and digital devices have been recovered, viewers, and several other recoveries have been made which suggest that this particular group is up to very little good. Let me tell you, the targeted are those who speak up for the interests of a community. To stir up communal passions is not surprising. The NIA has not just uncovered bundles of cash and multiple electronic devices, as you are seeing on your screens, but weapons and also literature used allegedly to whip up communal hate in new recruits so that they become radicalized. These are all the claims that are being made by NIA. In fact, some of the PFI's cadre have even joined ISIS and other Islamist groups. This is a well-known fact. Viewers, identities have all come out, and no one can counter this, not even the PFI. Sharp-edged weapons and a lot of literature, as I told you, that is used to radicalize, according to the NIA, has been also recovered. Those radicalized cadre, viewers, that don't leave India are then allegedly tasked to kill. Times Now has accessed the NIA's remand note, which exposes the hit list, quote unquote, not my words, prepared by the PFI of leading Hindu leaders to allegedly terrorize the community. Now, viewers, kill lists have been allegedly recovered of individuals who need to be eliminated, almost to a fault of the majority community. Why would that be the case? Let me read out from the NIA's remand note. Documents contain highly incriminating material on targeting prominent leaders of a community. The hit list seized shows PFI is creating atrocities, more investigation needed to prevent bloodbath, actively involved in terrorizing other religious sections to create fear in general public by larger conspiracy, PFI office bearers, members raising funds for terror acts, radicalizing and recruiting Muslim youth to join the ISIS. Now, viewers, this is what the NIA's remand note submitted in court seems to suggest. Highly placed sources have told Times Now that all these diabolical activities are funded with money also arranged from dubious sources. And this money is then dispersed, viewers. Here's what sources within the NIA have told Times Now once again. Let me take you through what we know. Over 120 crores deposited in accounts of PFI and affiliates over the years. That's one of the principal claims being made by the NIA. Foreign funds collected, layered, transferred, and used for violence. That's another claim. The third claim, viewers, is that the funds used for Delhi riots, visit of PFI, CFI members to Hathras. There are other details. Funds used for launching attacks, training and carrying out attacks, use of explosives and weapons for attacks on prominent persons, organized training camps to disrupt visit of Prime Minister himself in Patna on the 12th of July, PFI developing Munnar Villa Vista project to launder foreign funds, proceeds of crime shown up to 22 crores parked in project. We've also shown you the money. The PFI, however, has denied that any funds from abroad, and PFI also doesn't allow receiving funds. This is what the PFI has said. They've come out and cleared their name, according to them, of all these charges. Now, viewers, despite this burgeoning evidence that the NIA claims, and the NIA, by the way, viewers, has a very high conviction rate. So when they go in, usually it ends up in conviction, 95% plus conviction rate. Despite this burgeoning evidence collected by the NIA, claimed as kosher by the NIA, will the PFI be described by its sympathizers as a socio-cultural organization? Even now, fundamental question. Will its supporters demand that it be banned, and will it cadre concede it can't escape sanction and scrutiny? Let's open this up, viewers, without delay. Let's get some answers in. Let me go straight across first to Advocate Sharafuddin, VP of the SDPI. I presume that means Vice President. Advocate Sharafuddin, I want to ask you a question straight away. I want to ask you this. You are an organization today that stands guilty of violating the law of the land as it is understood and laid down by the courts. Your cadre today defied a court-imposed ban on flash hartals. Why break the law? Was it an act of revenge against illegal search and survey operation by the NIA, sir? It's a fundamental question.
My reply is that first, your narrative is tilted to one-sided and it is unfounded. The first thing is that SDPI highly respect the law and there has not been a single act of violence in hundreds of thousands of the protests conducted by SDPI ever across the country. So SDPI always in a mode of the protest, but always has been peaceful and without violence, and throughout country police know that SDPI people do not turn to the violence. The other is the findings have not been given by the court and only allegations have been made. So we should wait till the court gives the finding, as there should be a even playing field, because you see what is happening contemporary. Yashwant Shinde yesterday filed an affidavit in Nanded court that RSS has been involved in deploying volunteers to deploy in disruptive activities, but the same agencies which Supreme Court several times has said that it is inefficient in functioning and they are biased. Even Supreme Court has said that they are pirates and politically motivated. So let the court decide because your narrative should also be put to the scrutiny by the court,
Advocate
not to be accepted by the public.
Clear. It's not my narrative, and I have made that expressly clear in my introduction that these are the claims of the NIA. These are all the claims of the NIA. Of course, they have to be scrutinized by the courts, and I am saying that these are allegations, and I also duly reported your denial of the money that seemed to have been claimed, that was recovered according to the NIA from some of your workers. So let's first not go after the anchor and shoot the messenger. It's become a habit from the Supreme Court down to anybody. Down to anybody. No, 1 second. And sit in judgment. You know why? 1 second. 1 second, sir. Advocates up, please. Advocates up, please. The reason is because we ask the hard questions. Whether it's the court's viewers and their privileges, the justices and their privileges, Times Now will continue to ask these questions. And I will ask those questions of even VPs, very important people who belong to the SDPI. I will ask these questions without being browbeated. And I'm now going to ask you, sir, you still haven't answered my question. The High Court had to intervene. You're an advocate, sir, man of the law. Why did you break the law by calling for a flash hartal in the state of Kerala? You know it is illegal. Was it an act of revenge against a legal search and survey op by the NIA? Was it an attempt to intimidate the state? What was it? You need to answer that question. Forget about the rest. Just answer this basic question. You say you're law-abiding. You say you're peaceful. Do peaceful, law-abiding organizations willfully overlook a High Court-ordered ban? Simple.
First, the democratic protest may not be blocked in a democratic setup, but violence may not be permitted and it should be brought to the book. If anybody commits the acts of violence, he should be brought to book, sir, and should be punished.
Are you today going against the spirit of what the Kerala High Court said? Let me tell you what they said today. The Kerala High Court said nobody can call for a bandh in the state without permission. Can you show me the permission you took for calling
Yes, I support.
for a flash.
I support, but
Flash,
SDPI
no,
has
you
not
support
called
it,
for the bomb.
but you don't condemn your own organization. You are a VP, a very important personality of this organization. Now you tell me, sir, do you today accept that you are guilty of cocking a snook at Indian law?
All the acts of violence.
I want to ask you, do you cock a snook today willfully?
I unequivocally condemn the acts of every violence. I condemn the acts of those organizations who turn to the violence.
Okay.
And SDPI
So
has been carrying a track record never to go to the violence.
So are you saying that these individuals who are seen on our screens, holding your flags, chanting slogans of the SDPI, PFI, are imported from another country? Who are these people then?
We have to put to test. We have to put to the test.
You have to put to test. Sir,
whether
you know what you're
SDPI
doing
has
to your
given any
credibility
call
tonight? You are setting it aflame like those arsonists. That's
Yes,
what you're doing to your credibility.
That is why you would not be browbeaten. So is the case between. We have to put.
You will not be browbeaten. You will not be browbeaten. There it comes out, viewers. I told you this was an act of revenge.
Never.
The PFI is exacting revenge against the Indian state. Now, if they can do it, now 1 second, viewers. It's a fundamental question. If they can do it on the back of raids, if they want to exact, now 1 second, Advocate Saab.
Finding from the court, what to say?
Advocate Saab, you are tonight in contempt of court. You are saying that if someone steps on our toes, we are within our rights to act as we please. And this is a very dangerous invocation, because viewers, if on such...
You cannot put your words into my
That's
mouth.
what you're saying.
I said that it is all the acts of violence are condemnable.
Will you take ownership for these acts of violence?
All the acts of violence are condemnable.
Mr. Sharafuddin, will you take onus for these acts of violence? Will you accept responsibility for breaking a High Court ban?
I will share the pain of the country if violence is committed, I will ask everybody not to turn to violence.
Sir, are you taking personal responsibility? You're a VP, Vice President, very important personality of the PFI. I'm asking you, will you take onus for what your cadre did today in
not
obviously
PFI,
a fit of peak?
I am not PFI, I am SDPI.
Okay. Now, viewers, here is another googly. The SDPI and the PFI. The SDPI is a political wing of the PFI. And you can see how Sharafuddin here
is a registered party with the Election Commission of India.
Yes, sir. Is it not the political wing of the PFI? Do you not accept this fact?
It is autonomous, it is independent and autonomous, it is controlled by its constitution, approved by Election Commission of India.
I don't care about
not
that.
By PFI.
Are you today
not
willfully distancing yourself and misleading the nation by suggesting that you're not the political wing of the PFI? Why are you distancing yourself from the PFI? Is it a bad organization?
Has always been.
Is it a bad organization?
Has always been.
Is it an evil organization?
Has always been.
What is the problem?
No, not been. You are incorrect. It has not been banned. It has not been banned. Never banned. And once banned in Jharkhand, banned has been.
I'm not talking about banned. I'm talking about bad. Is it a bad organization?
So
BAD. BAD, bad organization that you need to distance yourself from the PFI. What is wrong with the PFI?
First you should clarify the ban organizations. RSS has been thrice been banned. Now Yashwant Sinde is there.
I'm not talking about ban, sir. I'm talking about bad. BAD, bad organization, bad. BAD. BAD.
Okay. Has any court given the finding that it is a bad organization except you?
Okay,
has any court given the findings?
I think Mr. Sharafuddin, you are not hearing what I am saying. I am saying, is the PFI a bad organization? BAD, not banned, bad. That you need to distance yourself from it.
No court has given the finding to support you. No court of law
Okay.
has given finding to
Well,
support
viewers,
you. So
you
how
see, on this show,
could I
when
support
people
you?
get caught out, when they get tripped up, when they can't be upfront with me, then they begin to clutch at straws. Today, Mr. Sharafuddin is clutching at the
You
straw.
want to put your voice
Banned
into my
versus
mouth.
banned.
Why should I accept?
Okay, you don't have to accept, sir. You don't want to accept my reading of the situation as I have seen from what has
No,
happened on the ground. One second,
your bad
of our
organization.
reporters.
What are the meaning-
Neither
what
do you
are the
want to
meaning
pay
of the bad
attention
organization?
to the
How
High
do you
Court.
define- how
The
do
High
you
Court
define
can
the
also,
bad
no, no,
organization?
even the High Court you
You
don't
please
accept.
say-
Even the
please
High
say-
Court. You have not answered, sir, tonight. And I'm asking you this question. I'm sorry I'm persisting with you.
No, High Court has only put. High Court has said that it is disruptive activities should not be going on. High Court has condemned the disruptive
Okay,
activities.
let's open
not
this up.
said the bad organization.
Let's open this up.
Bad
Viewers,
organization should have a definition.
Let's
There is
open
no
this
definition.
up. Let's open this up. Let's open this up. Let's open this up. We have an evasive VP of the PFI who says, I'm actually of the SDPI. Don't confuse
Not
me.
PFI. You
I'm
are
VP
misleading.
here,
You
not
are
there.
misleading. I am VP of SDPI.
Okay, SDPI. Okay, Dr. Ranganathan, what do you make of the stonewalling that we have just heard from this gentleman who is a VP of the SDPI PFI and refuses to answer what his cadre were doing on a street, all the streets of Kerala today, vast number of places, in total defiance of the High Court order?
Good evening, Rahul. First of all, please allow me to collect my wits. I mean, I must commend you for...
I initially condemned.
Now, Rahul, please, can this gentleman be muted?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, no, first of all, I want to commend you for your deadpan delivery. I mean, Spike Milligan would be proud of you, honestly. You know, to deliberately underline 5 times that this man is the VP. अरे ये टाटा बिरला इन्फोसिस का VP नहीं है. कल को आप you will be respecting Al Zawahiri, who was a VP of Al Qaeda also. And you know, let me just give the facts. NIA arrested 21 PFI and SDPI activists in Kannur when they were participating in an arms training camp. NIA seized country bombs and swords and documents linking them with terrorist groups like Indian Mujahideen. Do you know when this happened? In August of 2013, under the Congress, under the UPA. So the NIA is a Congress stooge in addition to being a BJP stooge. And NIA, by the way, has a conviction rate of almost 94.5%. And this is what is scaring the PFI and its supporter in the media. And by the way, all those 21 PFI and SDPI activists were convicted in 2016. Look, there is documented proof that the PFI is an organization neck deep in acts of terror, bomb making, training camps, political murders, links with Al-Qaeda and Islamic fundamentalism. The PFI came into prominence after Simi was banned. Many PFI leaders are ex-Simi, and this is not me saying this, but the Kerala police in the High Court. Let me give you just one more example of PFI's criminal antecedents. On July 4, 2010, PFI activists chopped off the hand of a teacher named Joseph for allegedly framing a question that allegedly insulted Prophet Muhammad. In 2015, 13 PFI activists were convicted by the court for this crime. Hundreds of PFI leaders and activists have been charged under the UAPA, all under the Congress and the Communists. But the moment the BJP comes to power, the former start supporting such organizations, play the victim card, हम खतरे में हैं, चिराग बुझाने की कोशिश है, डरा हुआ मुसलमान, etc. And at the same time, support such organizations that want to break up India. Remember in January 2020, Bangalore police, through CCTV evidence, arrested 6 SDPI men who for mere 10,000 each, Rahul, plotted to kill the young BJP MP Tejasvi Surya because of his pro-CA stand. They in fact came to kill him at a rally but couldn't find him, so nearly killed an RSS worker instead. PFI's hero is Allama Iqbal, who said, and I quote, "The mission of Islam is to purge this world of infidelity and worship of false god," unquote. Rahul, fools are those who didn't understand Iqbal's mission, and fools are those who don't understand the PFIs. But then again, more than the PFI, it is the government that needs to answer as to why the Modi government hasn't banned PFI for 8 years. Is as deep a mystery as the Bermuda Triangle. Rahul, just 20 seconds. 2 days ago, the Kerala police arrested a PFI activist. You know what he was doing? He was wrecking BJP and CPIM leaders and planning to target them. Finally, it has dawned on the leftists that the Islamists, after they are done with the Hindu nationalists, will come after the communists. Please understand, especially Vivek, no one is a friend for them and no one will be spared.
Let me tell you, viewers, tonight I'm going to press on with the advocate. The advocate tried to tell us that the SDPI, PFI, two different organizations. And this is what the court has said, viewers, about both of them. For the reason that the SDPI, PFI activists, both were behind the killing, there is no justification in seeking transfer of the investigation to the CBI. No doubt SDPI and PFI are extremist organizations indulging in serious acts of violence. All the time, those are not banned organizations. All the same, those are not banned organizations. The court said in its order on May 5th, please check, sir, the Kerala High Court, you're a man of the law, here it is. You are both bad, B-A-D, both bad, B-A-D, both bad. And you are today sitting here, a man of the law, who can't explain to me why your cadre are breaking the law that was set down by the Kerala High Court, which has taken a dim view, sir, of your activities, calling you extremist organizations. And I want to ask Vivek Srivastava tonight, the court has also wrapped the police on its knuckles. Advocate Sharafuddin might be flitting between the PFI and the SDPI tonight. But sir, you can't flit between the CPI and the CPM tonight. Sorry to say, both share power in Kerala, and therefore I'm asking you tonight, sir, why is the left going soft? Why did it allow the SDPI, PFI, these extremist organizations from breaking the law, and why did you find yourself being pulled up by the Kerala High Court today, if not for the purpose of appeasement? Why?
Great. See, I mean, first of all, the left does not believe in appeasement at all. For us, it's all secular, it's all one.
Sure.
One nation, one people, one vote, whether you're a Hindu or a Muslim. We don't appease.
I see.
Now, the fact is, my esteemed friend, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, he spoke the name of Tejasvi Surya. So, Dr. Ranganathan, did Tejasvi Surya and Tejinder Bagga take the permission of Delhi police before they decided to barge into the residence of the Delhi Chief Minister? And why were you not critical of that? When BJP and RSS activists are doing the same activities across the nation in opposition ruled states, you don't speak out. You don't speak out. Across the nation in a democracy, I'm not a PFI supporter. I think whatever happened was wrong. Violence should not have happened. Buses should not have been burnt. And corrective measures are taking place. The police is in action, and everybody will be brought to the book. That is one part. But you cannot be one-sided. You cannot say that the only people who are, I mean, the RSS and the PFI are two sides of the same coin. Both feed on each other. The Islamic terrorism and the Hindu fundamentalists both feed on each other. Both of them do activities to make each other stronger. And Shinde, who was caught yesterday in Nanded and who gave the whole affidavit, what about him? Will Dr. Anand Ranganathan speak about that bomb? Will he speak about Mr. Shinde also? Or is it only one-sided anti-Muslim triad that yes, the Islamists are a danger to this nation and the communists need to know? We are very careful, sir. We know where is the dividing line and we know what is going to happen. It is not a danger to the nation.
No, 1 second. Vivek Srivastava, don't give me this spiel that you don't appease.
Yes.
That you don't play appeasement politics. You signed up.
We don't
In, no, 1 second. In Bengal, excuse me, sir, if you allow me, I allowed you to speak completely. Don't interrupt me.
Yes.
When I'm presenting the facts, you can counter me on the facts,
Please.
which you won't be able to. But don't interrupt me. That's not fair. Okay.
No,
Now,
I will
viewers, in Bengal, during the elections, the left hitched their bandwagon to a radical organization. Viewers, the ISF is run by a cleric who has made the most rancid comments against other communities, in particular the majority community. In fact, they were so joined at the hip that even the Congress did not want to share a platform. Lokesh Jindal will testify to this. Rahul Gandhi said, we don't want anything to do with that lot. But viewers, they were part of an alliance. So don't tell us that you don't appease. Secondly, sir,
No, that is all. There
A
was a
legislator
common
from your
program
own
even in
party
Netflix.
came out.
There
One
was a
second.
common
A
program
legislator
even
from your own party came out and he raised the red flag against the activities of the PFI, saying that it was involved in what he called was love jihad. And what did you do? You went after that person. There is obviously
It's not-
something
we
that
are
makes
not
you
supporting the
very
violence of
tolerant
PFI.
of the
But
PFI
we are
SDPI.
saying don't
I don't
be
know.
one-sided. Be critical of the RSS also.
Sir, you have
You don't
proof.
have the guts to
You
question
have proof
RSS.
against
Dr.
the
Ranganathan doesn't have
RSS.
the courage
Bring
to
it
question the
out.
RSS.
Go to the courts. File an FIR.
why is the
have a
NIA
probe
not
done.
so active
You
against
have an
the RSS?
investigate. No, no,
Because
one
the
second.
RSS is on
You
ban many
have.
times.
Excuse me, sir.
And they gave it in writing.
We are talking about the
Love
PFI
jihad
tonight.
in writing
has been
कि हम एक कल्चरल
disowned by the
सांस्कृतिक
Supreme
संगठन
Court.
हैं.
Okay. Let me also tell you, viewers.
My name was taken.
Even though the Kerala government, the same left government, went to the High Court and said that the PFI SDPI is an extremist organization, kudos to them. At least they had somewhat of a spine. They have never called upon the center, viewers, not even once, to ban the SDPI PFI. So they will sit here and they will say, oh, the center hasn't done it. The center can only do it acting on the request of the state government. This is a fact. I want to bring in Colonel RSN also, but Dr. Ranganathan, you wanted to make a point.
Are ruled by the BJP.
You want to make a quick point?
the majority
Yes,
please
of
go
the
ahead.
states are
Just
ruled by
only,
BJP, sir.
yes.
Two BJP
Col-
states
Col-
did, the ban failed. Yes.
Yes, Rahul, and I'm intervening. I'm sorry I'm taking Colonel's time. Please forgive me, but only because my good friend Vivek, Comrade Vivek, took my name and made some allegations. So please give me a minute to rebut those. Number one, on a lighter note, the good thing about Vivek is that he is not brainwashed, because you require a brain for that. Two things. I talked about 6 SDPI activists. I gave facts. CCTV footage was taken. They were arrested allegedly for trying to come and kill Tejaswi Surya. That was the point. And what does Vivek say? कि तेजस्वी को आपने क्यों नहीं बोला कि उसने केजरीवाल के घर के आगे तमाशा किया? अरे भाई, I condemn that as well, but वो कहां से कहां जोड़ लिया? And number 2, Vivek is talking about me being selective. I've never been. Tejinder Bagga is a good friend, but you find out at a book launch on his face, I condemned his taking to violence. I condemn on his face. What I say it in front of everyone. I'm an open book. But here is Vivek. I'll tell you his selectivity. He condemns those, Israel, for example, for trampling on the rights of Palestinians. But he does not condemn China for interning 1.5 million Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps. In fact, he said openly, I will not condemn China. This is what he feels for Muslims. थोड़ी तो शर्म कर लो विवेक मेरे भाई, थोड़ी शर्म कर लो. जेएनयू आ जाओ, आपको कॉफी पिलाऊंगा और कॉफी पे ऊपर.
अरे सर, आप अमेरिकन प्रोपेगेंडा मशीनरी के विक्टिम हैं.
So now it is American propaganda.
Okay, one second. Let me step. No, let me step in. Colonel RSN and Lokesh Jindal. See, I want the security analysis, please. Please don't speak over each other, gentlemen. Please, this is not right. Okay, Colonel RSN has waited his turn. So is Lokesh Jindal. Let's go across to them. Lokesh Jindal, first to you. I'm going to read out a statement. V.S. Achyutanandan, who was Chief Minister of Kerala in 2010, he said this about the PFI. Their strategy is to make Muslims a majority community in Kerala. In 20 years, they want to make Kerala a Muslim majority state, unquote. This is a man occupying a constitutional office who has accepted office on the back of a very, very clear mandate by the people. He takes oath on India's constitution and he felt this. Do you agree? Does the Congress party agree with his interpretation? Yes, no.
Good evening, Rahul. The statement that was made was political. However, when we are talking about the present context and the investigations carried out by NIA, they are backed by certain proofs, they are backed by certain concrete evidences. So we cannot compare the NIA investigations to that of the statement in 2010. Secondly, I would agree with Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
Lokesh Jindal says these are born out of political compulsions.
I
Now let me tell you.
I applaud you for saying that.
One second. Now let me tell you. Let me tell you.
I said it's a political statement.
It's a political statement, he says. Now when was this statement made, viewers? When was this statement made? When, and this was subsequently held up in a court of law, when PFI SDPI activists chopped the hands of Professor T.J. Joseph. So why would Achyutanandan be making political statements when, viewers, a grievous, horrific crime was committed by SDPI, PFI activists? And I'm using their names in conjunction because the High Court uses it in conjunction.
You are misquoting incorrectly.
Oh no, sir. I am not.
Has not been made.
I am not, and I am not going to believe you. I am not going to believe you. I am not going to believe you, sir, because you lie on record sitting right here in Times Now. You cannot even bring yourself to say,
you have not gone through
sir,
the judgment.
you are not even bringing yourself to say, excuse me.
Rewarded on the individual responsibility.
Yes, sir, of course it was. And I'm saying so. He was an SDPI, PFI cadre. Right? I'm saying so. Was he not, or will you disown him too?
Never. Court has said that
okay, he was nothing. He didn't exist. The hand just fell off. Don't, sir, today mock the pain of Professor Joseph.
I know
please.
You have not gone through the judgment.
Okay, nothing. We have not gone through anything. Sir, we are all liars. Only you speak the truth. A person who can't even stand up and admit that his cadre hit the street today, forced an illegal ban on the public and state of Kerala
first, then make the judgmental.
Yes, sir, fine. It's okay.
You are judgmental.
Okay.
Can I complete?
No, 1 second. Colonel RSN, what do you make of this whataboutery tonight? There is the Congress and there is the left and there is the PFI SDPI. What do you make of it?
No, what is Jamaatul Dawa to Lashkar-e-Toiba? SDPI is to PFI. It's a very well established fact. And you spoke about, flash strike. They are very adept at it. 2012 was a very eventful year. Not only, what happened with Professor Joseph. Remember, that was August 2012. A massive flash SMS campaign was orchestrated by the PFI in collusion with the Pakistan's ISI, leading to exodus of 30,000 citizens of North-East from Bengaluru. And why this was done? This was done as a revenge for what was happening, what had happened with Rohingyas and what has happened in the Assam riots. You check up. Now, typically, this is not a law and order problem. I see no reason why should lawyers be here. Sir, it's just let me allow to be. I'm an internal security analyst, right? Let me tell you, it is a pan-Indian problem. It is not a matter for lawyers and courts, etc., etc. That can happen. Ultimately, there is a constitution that will go its own way. But here is the first time, and let me tell you, all internal threats, and I'm talking about the third front, are pan-Indian in nature. Now the Maoist, from Tirupati to Pashupati, took the eastern route. These guys have taken the western route, from Kerala to Karnataka to Tamil Nadu to Karnataka to Goa to Rajasthan and to Delhi Shaheen Bagh and now to Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, where you said, imagine PFI cadres traveling all the way from south to Bihar to make an assassination attempt on the Prime Minister. Now what vision document of 2047 say? For the benefit of the your viewers, let me put it in Hindi. What does the vision 2000 document says? It says कि we were never in majority in India. हम कभी भी बहुमत में हिंदुस्तान में नहीं थे. हम हमेशा अल्पसंख्यक थे और हमारे साथ अगर 10% भी अगर मुसलमान हमारे साथ ये शामिल हो जाए तो इन कायर हिंदुओं को हम ये करके हम अपना राज पुनः हम स्थापित कर सकते हैं. दिस इज इट इज इन four stages. This is stage 1. I'm just telling you. Now
Why I am saying it is 1 minute, 1 minute. It is not a day. Please, I have not time. I just don't want to waste my time on lawyer this, judgment this, that court said this. अरे भाई शाहीन बाग के सामने वहां पर कोई लॉयर खड़ा था क्या? जजमेंट खड़ा था जब वो शर्जील इमाम वाज सेइंग कि हम भारत के चिकन नेक का हलाल कर देंगे. Did you read? Because it is an internal security threat.
Okay.
It is, they have declared a war against the country.
Well, Colonel RSN making some very important points. Running out of time.
The history of India.
Okay, running out of time. Just 1 second, viewers. Now, given the fact that the NIA has been able to unearth all of this, and if it's such plain, well-known facts, I'm asking the central government tonight, by when will you ban it? If it is as deadly an organization as everyone, including Colonel RSN today, is testifying, when will you ban it? Is there a timeline? Can we expect a timeline? Or are we going to see a flurry of arrests and then long court cases, sermons by justices, and that about it ends? Viewers, fundamentally, it is not really the test of the PFI SDPI tonight. It's not even the test of the Congress and the left anymore. This is a test of the central government. Will they now, on the back of all of this, ban the SDPI PFI in the next few days? We will ask that question, viewers. We will ask that question because we believe in upholding the national interest. I move on, viewers, tonight. I move on because we have been investigating what has been happening in the United Kingdom over these last few weeks. Times Now brings clear evidence of how the UK hate attacks on temples and houses of Hindus were pre-planned and much, much bigger than we can ever imagine. This was no reaction to a cricket match, but a call to coordinated murder. Today, we get you a series of messages that were exchanged and circulated by Islamists on social media which made their plans crystal clear. The reason we are putting these messages out tonight, viewers, is not to promote any hate, etc., but it's just to correct the narrative. The narrative has been that these attacks on Hindus were brought on by Hindus themselves. Why? Because Hindutva elements of the BJP and the RSS have set up shop in the United Kingdom, and they are upsetting community relations, and the price is being paid there by Hindus who don't believe in the RSS or the BJP. Now, viewers, if these chilling messages are to be believed, the plan had nothing to do with Hindutva. And we've taken this long to put these messages out because we have done some back-end work, viewers. We have corroborated, we have spoken to locals, we have spoken to researchers, and they have confirmed that these messages were indeed put out. We have even spoken to police authorities and they have confirmed it too. And a lot of them, viewers, are completely unprovoked. And therefore today, we are going to go straight across to Mr. Bob Blackman, who, viewers, is a member of Parliament no less in the United Kingdom, and he raised this entire issue in the House of Commons, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Blackman, thank you very much for speaking to me. You have written also to the Right Honourable Suella Braverman, KCMP, the Secretary of State for the Home Office, and you have brought to her attention these very disturbing findings. Now, what makes you convinced of the fact that these were attacks against one community and not necessarily connected to any game of cricket?
Well, namaskar to you, and a pleasure to join you live. You're quite right. I've raised the fundamental issues yesterday we have questions on business to be transacted in the House, and I asked for a debate or a statement from the Home Secretary about what had gone on in Leicester and in Birmingham, in Smethwick, the previous night. I'm particularly concerned because, as all of your viewers will know, we will be celebrating Navratri from the start of next week. We have Diwali and Hindu New Year coming up. In the UK, Navratri is celebrated by groups of people going to often school halls or community centres to combat to combine the dancing and the celebrations of Navratri. They have no security arrangements for them. And obviously on Diwali, it's a great celebration for the Hindu, Sikhs and Jain community. And Hindu New Year the following day, I predict we'll see 1 million people plus visit temples all over the United Kingdom. So this is a very serious issue in terms of security and the rise in, I'm afraid, attacks on peaceful Hindus. I do think the situation in Leicester is unique. From what I've heard, and I'm not a Leicester MP, I'm a London MP, but from what I've heard, the troubles have all been caused by people coming in from outside the area. Hindus, Sikhs, Muslims live side by side in Leicester and have done for a very long time. And there's occasional tensions, as there always are, but essentially everyone gets on. And there are been no incidents of real problems between the two communities, in particular in Leicester up until now. But there were attacks. Obviously, one of the things that we've had is the very sad death of Queen Elizabeth II. So we've been in a period of national mourning, and we've tended to avoid speaking out about these subjects. But the very weekend before the funeral, a lot of these attacks took place. We did see people being injured. We saw attacks on temples. We saw flags being burnt, and an attempt in Smethwick just the other night of a mob trying to storm the temple and really root out the people that were there for their normal celebrations. A lot of this is driven by, I'm afraid, outside elements that have been radicalized, and a lot of it also has been driven by incorrect messages on social media. People have put about stories that mosques have been attacked and so on, and the police have had to put up social media messages to say there is no truth in these statements. Please do not believe them. It's a deliberate attempt by a particular section of the community to stir up trouble and cause problems between different religions. It's extremely regrettable. What we need to do is to reduce that tension between the communities, isolate this particular small radicalised section of the community, and make sure they don't cause any trouble. I'm told the police made 46 arrests in Leicester. None of them were Hindus. And that tells you, I think, exactly what has gone on there and who has been attacked. I do know that there's a real serious fear at the moment, obviously, as I've said, with Navratri and Diwali coming up, amongst the Hindu community in the UK. So I've been asking our new Home Secretary and new Policing Minister to give reassuring messages to make sure we don't want police to be standing outside every single community centre.
True.
That would be terrible. But actually making sure that the police give reassurance, that they can say they're on hand if there is any trouble, and they use their intelligence, they gather, that if any trouble is brewing, then they act to prevent it happening. There was an incident, indeed, in Leicester, I believe, just a night or so ago, where the police had issued literally a banning order, and so anyone that was from outside the area wasn't allowed to go anywhere near the temples. Groups gathered, and the police literally said to them, "What are you doing here? You're not coming to the temple. What are you doing here? Justify why you're here," and making them disperse. The same thing, I think, has happened in Nottingham. So across the country, action is being taken, And what I've sought to do is to make sure that our leading politicians, our new Home Secretary and other ministers, are making sure we're giving the community the reassuring messages that we need to say it's perfectly safe for British Hindus, who are the most law-abiding citizens we have, to go about their law-abiding business and celebrating their religion. And I look forward to joining many groups over the next week or so for Navratri and indeed, of course, Diwali and for the celebration of Hindu New Year. Well, it's something I've done for 30-odd years and I will continue to do so.
Well, let's hope that, Mr. Blackman, this is the end of the sordid chapter. I dare say, though, that may not actually transpire, because it appears to me that, unlike you, who's quite forthcoming and has acknowledged the issue for what it is, a large number of your political contemporaries don't seem to be as forthright. And as they always say, light is the best antiseptic. I leave it at that, Mr. Blackman. Thank you for...
Silence on these issues is acquiescence. I'm not prepared to be silent on behalf of the community that I represent. We've got to speak out about this and make sure we put an end to it.
Well, Mr. Blackman, thank you very much for your candor and your reassuring messages to millions of Indians here, both Hindus and Muslims, Sikhs, etc., who have relatives who live in enclaves in Britain. Thank you very much. I hope they take back your reassuring message and the fact that they have an MP who's championing their cause and looking out for them. Thank you very much. Let's open this up, viewers. Let's open them up. And I want to go straight across to Dr. Anand Ranganathan and Suhag Shukla, Executive Director of the Hindu American Foundation. Suhag Shukla, I want to begin with you first. It's not just UK that has seen hate attacks. On a smaller, more isolated level, we've seen all of this happening in the US. What connects these incidents?
I think at the heart of this is misinformation. And I really am encouraged to know that arrests were made in UK. And I wholeheartedly echo what Mr. Blackman said in terms of silence is acquiescence. And that's in the face of misinformation. When we see, well, it's twofold. You see the media as well as institutions and mechanisms in liberal democracies, especially in the United States, being used to perpetuate misinformation, and then silence in the face of these types of attacks are really presenting a skewed picture. There's not much that you can do about misinformation that's kind of getting perpetuated through WhatsApp. Certainly there's more that can be done on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, and we just don't see that sort of response in the face of anti-Hindu hatred being perpetuated there. The latest study by the Network Contagion Research Institute talks about the spikes in anti-Hindu hatred. And they've seen that institution in its study of anti-Semitism has seen a direct correlation between spikes of rhetoric on social media to on-ground violence. And so these types of things need to be taken far more seriously.
Well, Dr. Ranganathan, yes, I just have 30 or 40 seconds on the show. What do you make of the spin that has been put on this by certain motivated actors of the ecosystem here?
No, absolutely. First of all, I think Suhag is absolutely correct. The parallels between anti-Semitism and Hindu hatred are quite shocking, and they're very real, and they're spreading at an alarming pace. So someone has to do something about that. I don't know what or who. Secondly, Rahul, you also put the finger on the nub of the issue, which is that, believe it or not, even though the people who were shouting deaths to RSS or Hindutva or BJP, were maybe Pakistani Muslims, the intellectual thrust for this is being supplied from India. India is the core of Hindu misia and Hindu hatred. We saw this during the anti-CA protests. We've seen it ever since. What happens is that you have one-sided selectivity being propagated that, there is genocide of Muslims happening in India under the BJP and RSS, and all that stuff is going on for 8 years. And the people, in the UK and abroad, they may be Pakistanis or they may be Muslims from other countries, they take that to be the gospel truth. So the core is India, and someone has to address what is happening right now, Hindu hatred in India.
Well, we leave it at this, viewers. Many perspectives. Tomorrow we'll investigate this further. Do tune in at the same time. I leave it at that.
The most pressing issues, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
The show tonight, viewers.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah has launched a scathing attack at Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar during his Bihar visit. Addressing a rally in Purnia, Shah said that BJP will end Nitish ka Jangal Raj. In a big win for Uddhav camp, the Bombay High Court has allowed the Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena to hold its annual Dashara rally at the iconic Shivaji Park ground in Mumbai on October 5. NCP has slammed Maharashtra CM Eknath Shinde and son Shrikant after images of his son sitting on CM chair surfaced. However, Shinde's son has refuted the claims. In a huge embarrassment for the Congress, ED has summoned Sudarshan Reddy, J. Geeta Reddy and Shabbir Ali for questioning in connection with the National Herald case.
اینجا اصفهانه چهارشنبه کرمانشاه اینجا رامسره من اصابه ما در تهران هستیم مشغول پیاده روی بدون حجاب
Good evening and welcome to the Newshour at 9. I'm Madhvas Gopalakrishnan. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the NIA along with the ED and 15 state polices launched a massive crackdown on the Popular Front of India yesterday. A day later, what followed was the PFI unleashing violence across the state of Kerala. On your TV screens are the shocking visuals of arson and anarchy that unfolded today. Buses were vandalized, stones pelted, and shops and vehicles in many districts and policemen were attacked. PFI cadre attacked RSS offices in Kerala and Tamil Nadu as well. Petrol bombs were hurled at BJP office in Coimbatore and at an RSS office in Kerala. Now, this was not all. The PFI goons even targeted Times Now's team when it tried to report the violence. Watch how our team was openly threatened by these protesters.
The entire glass, the front portion of the glass is entirely damaged.
बस रोक के पत्थर मारा था.
Everyone have moved out of this bus and you can see what is left.
परवेज कुछ कहना चाहेंगे?
Now, despite this, your channel continues to bring you fearless and fair reportage from the ground. Times Now has also accessed the NIA remand note that exposes the hit list prepared by the PFI. Leaders of the Hindu community, in fact, have been on the target of the NIA designated radical outfit. It also revealed how the PFI raised funds and recruited Muslim youth for terror acts. Now, the NIA has recovered incriminating material from these locations raided. Bundles of cash, a large number of electronic devices, samples of books recovered. Hindu terrorism on minorities, a counter-revolution, how America got defeated in the war on terror amongst the books that were recovered. Now, this is all something that has transpired under the nose of the Pinarayi Vijayan government today. Without the state's inaction, the PFI men couldn't have unleashed this violence on Kerala streets. This, despite the Kerala High Court's warning against holding flash strikes. The court had clearly said that nobody can call a bandh without any permission. Let's listen to the war of words that erupted in the political corridors.
चाहे सिम्मी हो चाहे PFI हो, ये सब हिंसा के रास्ते से देश में विनाशक रूप धारण किए हुए हैं और इसलिए मैं सब दलों से, मजहबों से, जातियों से और सरकारों से ये निवेदन करूंगा कि वह एकजुट होकर एजेंसियों के साथ खड़े होकर इस देश में जितनी भी हिंसक मानसिकताओं के समूह हैं उनसे रक्षा करें. आरएसएस को हिंसक कहना और गाली देना इसको बंद करें.
I don't think there is any space for violence in public life. I think any kind of violence needs to be denounced and any kind of communalism, no matter where it comes from, has to stop and it is not going to be tolerated, and that's what the Bharat Jodo Yatra is all about, that there can be no space for violence, for hatred in this country. But I also want to ask a very specific question of the government. You have now been in government for 8 long years, actually 8.5 years now. You have been blaming the PFI. Go ahead and ban them. Why are you so hesitant?
And there's more details coming in from the different remand notes that have been filed as a larger conspiracy by the PFI that has now been exposed. Unlawful activities carried out by the PFI to spread terror, the use of explosives and weapons to attack VIPs, criminal conspiracy against India's integrity. Over 120 crore rupees that have been deposited in the accounts of PFI and other related accounts, and they are organizing and planning simultaneous attacks is the charge of these investigating agencies. Let's quickly go across to Priyank Tripathi, who's breaking that big story here. Priyank, take us through what exactly you have, not just as far as the funding, but as far as the planning and plotting of these attacks are concerned. What exactly are the agencies saying to the courts?
See, Madhav, the document which has been accessed by us is clearly nailing all the lies which has come up over the period of time, because time and again there have been defense which has come out from the PFI that they were not receiving foreign funding. But the Enforcement Directorate in the document which has been submitted to the court is clearly saying that P. Khoya, who is the secretary of PFI, has also accepted that the foreign funding was being received by them, and it was coming from Gulf country, being layered into different channels so that it should not come under the radar of the government agencies. And in fact, the ED has also mentioned that this particular funding was in the form of hawala. On the other side, the documents which has been accessed by us clearly states that how funding was given in the form of 1.38 crore rupees through different channels, so that the heartless unfortunate demise of the girl, the victim's girl, can be used for vitiating the atmosphere. Not even that, Mother. They have also spoken about that how PFI was actively involved in instigating the violence which happened in the national capital post Delhi riots in the northeastern part of India, and also the visit of the Prime Minister of a country in Bihar where he was holding a meeting. So all these documented fact, Madhav, certainly is
these are
very big. We know that they are being investigated.
Will, of course, the agency be able to prove this in a court of law is an important question, but certainly very, very serious charges that in fact these agencies and as far as those who have been detained at least at this moment have been arrested, they will have to in fact come clean on these very, very serious charges. Thanks so much for joining us, Priyank. There's some more breaking news coming in. The role of Shafiq Bait B is under the lens. The probe has revealed that PFI member K. Rauf Sharif has received rupees 1.36 crores from abroad. An amount of 25 lakhs was received by Raut from Shafiq. Bhavtosh, this is the entire issue of the money trail that many a time has come to the fore. It has come to the fore as far as Hathras, as far as the Delhi riots are concerned, and now once again all of this is being referred to by the agencies.
Yes, Madhav, in fact, I think to what Priyank is saying, these are for the first time documents that have been submitted by the federal probe agencies in court while seeking the custody of Shafiq Rahima. In that document, they have specifically mentioned that 16 lakh rupees was transferred into the bank account of Rehab India Foundation, an entity of Popular Foundation of India. Now, in his statement, he has admitted that members of PFI in Gulf were mobilizing funds for PFI. It has also been proven by Enforcement Directorate or alleged by Enforcement Directorate that from his personal account money was transferred to an NRO account, and then the money was then transferred to our Rauf account. Now, Enforcement Directorate said that Rauf then transferred this money into account of PFI members, and this money was then allegedly used by PFI members to foment trouble in the country, a charge that has completely been denied by PFI over a period of time.
All right. Thanks so much, Bhavtosh, for joining us with all of that information. And that brings us to the legitimate question that we're asking this evening. The legitimate question we're asking is that, is this impunity to hate being given under the left government in Kerala?
You're watching the Newshour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let's go across to our guest. Joining us with us is Rahul, activist. M.R. Venkatesh is a political analyst. Joining us, Sushil Pandit is also an activist. With us also is Professor Dinesh Varnishni, leader of the CPI. Akil Khan is a political analyst joining us here in our studio. Advocate Shahid Ali is the president of the United Muslims Front. Let me start with you first and foremost, Professor Dinesh Varnishni. We all know what the courts have said. We all know what the courts have said even today as far as the strike is concerned. In fact, I can quickly read out for you what the Kerala High Court has just said. The Kerala High Court has said nobody can call for a bandh in the state without permission. The state police should ensure the adequate measures are put in place to prevent any damage or destruction to public and private property of government and citizens who do not support the call for strike. Why did the government fail then, sir? Or did it deliberately look away?
How do you say the government failed? You see your videos everywhere, wherever they are protesting, the police is chasing them, the police is stopping them. What more do you want?
But they've managed to damage so much of public property, the buses, the buildings, wherever they have got it caused damage. That's something the preventive steps could have been taken.
Look, Madhav, all brands of terrorism, all brands of criminalism are condemnable. They must be fought. They must be banned. Let BJP ban PFI. It is under the government of India. Let them ban. All these rightist organizations, those who are based on the politics of religion, be it PFI or RSS, there is no difference to us. They are one or the same. Most of them, their sources of funding is by and large closer to each other. They serve the cause of destabilizing the progressive governments and the leftist government in India and the world. It is not my paper, it is the research of the world. This is the research of the universities. And you tell me each and every day in Kerala, the left cadre have one or the other fight with the PFI as well as RSS. And you see in their villages with whom they sit.
No, but
with
the
whom
question
they
is
sit
that,
together.
If that were
you will
true,
realize
the problem is
nowadays
why would there be conspiracies against the RSS workers? Because that's what the charge sheet seemed to suggest. But let me get a quick response from Rahul.
Let the police investigate.
Okay,
we will get to that point. The Kerala police will investigate.
We'll get to that point.
If the NIA has found the foreign
allegations,
no. If the NIA has found the foreign funding trail, you ban them. You ban them. We will welcome the ban of the PFI and ban on all the criminal organizations.
If they are indeed causing so much of damage to the social fabric, the central government, the Karnataka government and many other governments in the country are with the BJP. So why not effect a ban? Is that going to happen now?
Madhavji, 2 quick points. One, I don't belong to RSS, I respect RSS. But this fake monkey balancing between RSS and PFI always is an indirect way to give power fair to PFI. So it's an indirect way to legitimize themselves. You may have 1 or 2 different of opinion with RSS. Yes, but
that is your theory. That is your theory.
To create
that means you are lean towards RSS against the left.
And he has been
that means you are lean towards RSS against the left.
Professor Vashni, let him make his point. You also, nobody interrupted you, sir. Let him make his point.
So when Mohan Bhagat is reaching out to a mosque and trying to initiate a conversation, so this always leftist pseudo-secular strategy is legitimize PFI by associating with RSS and to create a fake balancing. We need balance, but fake balancing is different from having a genuine balance. Second point, right now the communists have even got the position of V.S. Achyutanandan, the great communist comrade who had the courage to say, Popular Front of India wants to make Kerala an Islamic state in 20 years by creating artificial relationship between people. Where is their stand right now? They are conveniently forgotten it. And who can forget Joseph Clark, whose hand was chopped off?
Right.
Remember, Kerala is home to some of the great Muslim organizations like Muslim League or MES or an evolving Jamaat-e-Islami. But at the same point of time, Popular Front is a hardline Islamist organization who are having a hate agenda, and leftists and the pseudo-seculars don't have the courage to call that out.
Okay.
And please remember, they even killed the comrade Abhimanyu.
All right, stay with us, Rahul Ishwar. Let me put that question because the question still remains unanswered. And let me get in Advocate Shahid Ali. Advocate Shahid Ali, you're a lawyer, sir. So you would know very well what the Kerala High Court has said. Leave alone the left government and why they failed, or if they failed, of course, Professor Vashni would have us believe otherwise, that they tried and they still failed. But then what about the PFI themselves? Are they a law unto themselves? Do they not believe in what the Kerala High Court has said? Should they not be following Kerala High Court orders?
So, law of land is supreme and everyone has to follow the law of land. If they have any grievance against any order passed by honorable court or any order passed by any agency, then they have the recourse available to them by way of approaching the courts, higher than the High Court, the Honorable Supreme Court. They could have approached the Honorable Supreme Court. The violation of law is not the solution. The social fabric of the country should not be violated in any manner.
So you condemn the PFI today?
If we feel that any order has wrongly been passed, or if we are not agreed to any order,
PFI for carrying out these violent protests.
If we are not agreed to any order, then we can approach the High Court.
So why don't you condemn the PFI, sir, on national television for carrying out these
violence in any
protests?
form is condemnable.
So you condemn the PFI, say it.
Violence in any form by anyone. Violence in any form by anyone. It's condemned. There is no
Those who carried out the violence today in
Once
Kerala
we say
included.
the law is supreme.
Those who carried out the violence.
Once we say law is supreme, then it always
Why
means
are you so
that.
shy of naming them, sir? Why are you shy of naming them? Say it. If you believe everyone who breaks the law, anyone who engages in violence like the pictures we are seeing is wrong, why don't you name the PFI? Are you scared?
I am saying with responsibility that everyone, whosoever violates law should be booked as per law,
Including
should be
the
dealt
PFI.
with as per law.
Including the PFI.
I am saying so.
You're saying so. You're saying so. All right.
All.
Right. I'm glad that at least
Whosoever they are, whosoever it is.
I'm glad that you are at least admitting so much on national television, sir, because this is so much that you have given. And that brings me to the point number 2. What about the plot that has been alleged? Now, this is what the NIA and the ED are alleging. They are alleging that there are plots to kill and at least names and addresses of individuals who belong to a particular community, to a particular organization. And this is mentioned in as many words in the remand notes, which you would have also perused, I guess. If these kind of acts of violence are being carried out, at the end of the day, is this also not condemnable according to you, Mr. Shahid Ali?
Sir, remand notes are not gospel truth. Remand notes are not gospel truth. Those are always subject to the scrutiny of honorable courts. And as and when any matter is put before the honorable court, thereafter a trial begins. So as far as the allegations are concerned, we cannot say what is there in the allegations or not. What are the evidences available with the investigating agency to prove or in support of their allegations. So that is always subject to the scrutiny of honorable courts. Now, no one should be afraid of whatever is true, whatever is true, that will come out
for itself, sir. We all know the dozens of cases that PFI cadre have been involved in, cutting across different states from Kerala to Karnataka to Tamil Nadu, and that's why I want to bring in MR Venkatesh. MR Venkatesh, we can't take, and this would normally apply to any other individual or any other organization, the rule that Shahid Ali says that we can't take the remand note at its face value, and perhaps he's right to the extent that courts, it will have to be proved by the agencies, these particular allegations in courts, but when it comes to the PFI, there is a long and very dark history of violent acts, Mr. M.R. Venkatesh. Would you like to refresh the memory of Advocate Shahid Ali?
Wait for Mr. Shahid Ali. I just let us leave it at that. What he said is absolutely correct technically. But this ban on PFI, which has not yet come, and I hope it will come, and this crackdown on PFI has come probably 10 years late. It has been one of the most brutal and one of the most dangerous organizations, terror organizations in India. And I would say it's all responsibility in your channel. The central government as much as the state government have failed to act on the PFI for the last 10 years, which includes the Narendra Modi-led NDA government at the center. But there I have durustaya, theek hai. Whatever has happened, but let us take it forward. The second thing is this Rahul Ishwar made a very pertinent point that every time you talk about a particular brand of terror, you create a false equivalence by trying to bring in RSS. I'm glad Rahul Ishwar, despite his name having Rahul, has made some sense today, and I'm very conscious of the fact that this is the problem with our narrative is whenever you try and talk about Islamic terrorism, you try to create a false equivalence of a Hindu terrorism.
All brands of communalism and all brands of terror.
Yes.
You first condemn all brands of communalism and all
sir,
brands
1 minute,
of
I'm coming to you, sir.
first condemn.
Mr. Vashti, let me make his point. There are others who have not even opened their mouth yet on the panel. There are two people waiting very patiently, Mr. Vashti. Please, I implore you. Mr. Vashti, please let everyone at least make the opening remarks. Mr. Vashti, please maintain your calm for just a minute. Please maintain your calm for just a minute. Yes. M.R. Venkatesh. Don't force me to know your fate, sir, please. There are others who have not yet spoken. Please don't speak out of turn. I will give everybody an equal chance to speak. M.R. Venkatesh.
Now the third thing is we have not seen the brutal side of the leftists. The leftists sit on and giving certificate who is communal, who is not communal. They are the most barbaric and the most dangerous force in India. In fact, banning PFI should be the second most objective. The first and foremost objective in this country should be ban this leftists.
Okay.
Jyoti Basu led one of the most.
I'll come back to Professor Vashni on that point. I'll come back to Professor Vashni on that point.
Government post-independence.
Okay.
See this man. He sits. No, 1 minute, Madhav. Let us be making it clear. Why are we shying away from discussing something very fundamental? These leftists sit and pontificate on the entire world, but you show a finger to them that these people, erupt in all this nonsense that you can see on the channel.
Okay, action should be taken. Why should action not be taken on the left for encouraging this kind of violence? That's a charge coming from Imar Venkatesh. Professor Vashni, before I go across to others. Okay, you've leveled direct questions. Okay, you will address the question to Professor Vashni, so I will have to give him a chance to respond to that. Professor Vashni. Professor Vashni. Professor Vashni, floor is yours, sir. Imar Venkatesh is raising serious questions as to why action should not be taken on leftists. That is his charge because of what has transpired today and allowing this kind of violence. How do you respond to him?
Imar Venkatesh should know that even at that time all the newspaper, including the capitalist newspaper, wrote that in Punjab CPI only fought against the terrorism. No other political party. The Imar Venkatesh, to whom he is supporting the terrorism, RSS communalism, ran away from Punjab. We fought against and we suffered for that. We lost more than 450 comrades in that terrorism, fighting against the terrorism. We fought against the terrorism, and communists are known for fighting against communalism, fighting against terrorism, all divisive tendencies, not only in India, but throughout the world.
Language, please. Language, gentlemen, please. Language. We are a national channel and we have watched also by several families. If not all of you to get a grip over the language, please, before we... And this is for all panelists. This is for all panelists. One second. Let me just lower the faders for the moment. We will come back to this point, but I want to bring in others. Sushil Pandit, I want you to quickly respond to what Professor Vashni has said.
You see, what is there to respond? Those who make these motherhoods, like all brands of communalism are bad, freedom is good, human rights are nice. This is the last refuge of the culpable. Who can forget that left has always aligned with jihad in order to overthrow the Indian state violently? They're coming together in JNU campus with Tukde Tukde gang is the epitome of such an alliance. And they have done this not just in different parts of India, they have done this in different parts of the world. They brought Ayatollah on their shoulders in Iran, only to be slaughtered by Ayatollah immediately thereafter. They don't learn their lessons. Today, party is in tatters in Iran today, primarily because they hobnob with jihad in order to bring Islamic revolution. Likewise, in Kerala, in Bengal, don't forget the last elections, they had Furfura Sharif cleric as part of their alliance, and he was the only one who won. The only seat this alliance won in the Bengal Assembly elections was the cleric of Furfura Sharif, who came riding on the shoulders of left and Congress combined.
Okay.
They have a dubious history, but they hide behind their motherhoods like all kinds of communalism and all.
Let me get down to the specifics. Okay, let me get down to the specifics. Sir. I want to bring in Akhil Khan on this. Akhil Khan, I'm just going to read out from some of these remand applications, and these are very, very serious charges, and that's why I'm reading out these entire sentences. These accused persons are involved in promoting enmity among different groups and thereby causing communal disharmony in society through social media and other platforms. They have also been involved in radicalizing and recruiting Muslim youth to join proscribed terrorist organizations like ISIS and sacrifice their lives for religion and for provoking them to commit violent and unlawful activities. These persons are also involved in activities supporting and furthering the proscribed terrorist organizations like SIMI and ISIS. Now, these are very, very serious charges, Mr. Akhil Khan. And these charges have not just been made in one court, they've been made in several courts, Delhi, Kerala, and several other jurisdictions as well. How do you respond to this very serious charge that has been leveled?
You see, since 2007, this PFI has come into existence, and their fundamental principles are to ensure the justice, security and freedom. This is the terrorism They are the fundamental principles.
They're not
and
chopped
you
off.
have not done.
Professor
This Modi
Professor
government.
Joseph's hand being chopped is justice according to you.
Just a minute.
Rudresh's murder is justice according to you.
No.
What kind of
What about
justice is this,
Bajrang
sir?
Dal? What about other terrorist organizations
please drag them
which
to
has
court.
been banned by the international agencies? What they are doing?
You know,
I
Mr.
tell you one thing. If you see in the greater perspective of the
Mr.
country,
Akil Khan.
you see greater perspective of the country.
Mr. Akil
You
Khan.
see this is the sheer frustration of Modi government.
Akil
Modi government sheer frustration out of
let me
they
at the
have
very outset-
they after failing the government of the India to economically, politically and socially they have failed India, and they are staring the defeat in Gujarat. Now they are doing all this kind of nonsense thing against those which is in since last 15 years. They are into existence. What you were doing for 15 years? You have not seen even single terrorist there.
Okay, Mr. Khan.
I am very
Mr.
much
Khan,
against
one
this.
second, sir.
This is the failure of Modi government. They are just diverting the
If you
attention
finish your
from the
monologue-
failure of
if you
the
finish your
entire
monologue,
country.
Mr.
They are
Akil Khan-
failing the country
Mr.
economically,
Akil Khan, if you
financially,
finished your monologue, a few
and
questions.
politically.
You know, let's be a little responsible here. This is a national channel. People
Yes,
are watching us.
I am
So
very
one
much
second. So I have
responsible.
some very important questions to ask
This
you.
is the Modi
Why do you connect
government
this to
which is
Gujarat?
failed and diverting the attention.
No, why do you
Just
connect this to Gujarat? Is the PFI contesting the elections in Gujarat? Is the SDPI contesting the elections
You
over
have
there?
to see
Why connect
what's
this to
going on
Gujarat?
for so many
Point
months,
number one.
so many
Point number
months
two.
together.
One second. Let me complete my questions to you. Point number two. You believe that PFI is committed to social justice. What kind
Certainly,
of violent
yes, it is
acts,
committed.
whether
They
it
have
is the
got the
campus
principle.
front of India
They
murder,
are-
one second sir, whether it is a student wing of the PFI committing murders on campus, whether it is the
You
killing
see,
of
if there is
Rudresh,
an isolated
whether it is
case,
the
they
killing
must be
of Professor
investigated.
Joseph. No sir, they are not isolated cases. There are dozens of cases which the
You see-
PFI is involved in. I'm sorry. Let me bring in one second. Let me bring in Rahul Ishwar.
I
One
would like
second.
to
I
tell you
don't
one
want
thing.
to get into a
There,
shouting match with you. One
see-
second.
You see the progress
One
which
second.
has been
You
made by
made
several
some
years.
points. You
They are
made some
doing
points. I want other panelists
social
to come
working
in.
for the
I want
benefit
other
of the-
panelists to come
of
in.
the,
A few social
people,
works
those
does
who
not
are
undo acts of
underprivileged.
violence and absolute undermining of the criminal justice system of this country. Rahul Ishwar, these are few isolated incidents apparently, according to Mr. Akil Khan.
He was saying the person was belonging to Dinesh Pashli Saab's ideology. Abhimanyu was killed by popular front, and there were many such instances. The Muslim organizations, we all respect. Why don't you have or people join mainstream Muslim organizations? You have a Muslim League, you have MES, you have so many other organizations. But Popular Front is throwing a line that is called Islamism or hardline Wahhabi or hardline Islamism.
So
And
what
social
you were
justice
doing
and
for so many
ethics
years?
just a mark.
Now, when Gujarat, you are staring defeat in Gujarat, and you are totally failure economically, politically,
where did
socially.
Gujarat come in,
Now
sir?
you are waking
Where
up.
did Gujarat come in?
This time, when
Where
everything
did
is,
Gujarat come in?
everything is.
See, this is what about we? With due respect, this is what about we?
You are engaging in communal acts, Mr. Akil Khan. You admit.
No, no, I
You are
don't agree.
So then why do you
I
say?
don't
why you
agree at
now?
all. You
According
are.
to you, the action should have been
the
taken
government
earlier.
is not
Either-
impartial.
So either
They
action
are
should
just
have been
making
taken or it should
the
not have been
corrupt
taken. You
people.
can't have it
I
both
tell
ways,
you,
Mr. Khan.
These are the corrupt people, those who are doing all this kind of things.
No, you may level allegations of corruption. There's nothing wrong with that. You have every right as a
Social
citizen
corruption,
of this
political
country.
corruption, and
You have every
economic
right as a
corruption.
citizen
All
of this country
corruptions.
to level corruption. But take responsibility for the acts of the people you are supporting, sir.
I am
on
not
national
supporting
television.
the murderers.
If you are saying,
I am supporting
if you are saying
their
PFI is
principles
correct,
because they
then
are
take
for Dalit
responsibility
also,
for
they are
every
for
act of
tribals
the
also,
PFI.
not Muslims.
Sushil
They are
Patil
not
wants to come in.
supporting Muslims. They are supporting all kind of downtrodden people.
Not with these kind
Not
of serious
Muslims
charges.
only.
Let's others come in now. Sushil Patil.
Madhav, use of words like justice, freedom, all this is a subterfuge, just as they use the national flag, the tricolor, in all their marches. It is only to hoodwink. It is to offer themselves a cover for all kinds of nefarious activities. And they have been doing it for decades now. Just
What about
use of this
Bajrang Dal?
vocabulary doesn't have
What about my friend? What
Let
about
others also
Bajrang
speak,
Dal?
please. Let others also
Banned
speak.
by the international
One second,
agencies.
one second. Let
That
others also come in.
doesn't hold good here.
Have you done anything?
So what prevents you from filing
They
a
are the
case?
anti-national
What
people.
prevents you from filing a case in a court of law? If you have the evidence, please go ahead. Please file a case in a court.
Yes.
Go to a high court, go to a Supreme Court, get them convicted. What? Yes. Can you go to a court? Have you gone to a court?
Anybody had done
Have you taken
any
legal
kind
action?
of, unlawful
Have you taken
activity?
legal action,
You must
Mr.
go to
Khan?
court.
Be
You must go to
responsible
court
in what you're saying.
and make them
The PFI itself does not follow court orders, and it's quite evident why. because you don't even have the ability to go to a court. If you have a shred of evidence, please go to the courts. Do you have faith in the courts of this country or not?
People also, you should go and...
So you file cases against the guilty, sir. You file cases against the guilty. Who's stopping you from filing those cases?
Why you are not...
No, let's not do these mental gymnastics over here. Let's not do these intellectual gymnastics over here. Let me bring in other panelists also. Professor Vashni, no, at the end of the day, the left has also been at the receiving end of violence by the PFI. And I thank Rahul Ishwar for actually pointing that out. And yet today, we see the left soft pedaling.
You know, we are fighting against the PFI when even Rahul Ishwar should know when Professor Joseph's hand was chopped. Our student organization, our youth organization fought against that incident vehemently, and over 10 lakh students and youth of the Kerala has protested against that under the leadership of the left parties and the left organizations. Nobody else protesting against that. Nobody else. Number two, similarly, see the example of Punjab. We fought against the terrorism in Punjab, not the RSS. Not the Bajrang Dal, not the Vishwa Hindu Parishad. There are 71 senas created by the right wingers in India.
So why, sir?
Directly or indirectly supported by the BJP and RSS.
One question to you. One question. May I ask you one simple question, sir? If 40 years ago you were so committed in Punjab, why is that commitment not reflecting in Kerala? Why is there a failure to crack down on these groups which only seem to be growing and growing?
Similar type of failure of the left were raised before the assembly election in Kerala, and people of Kerala has given a befitting reply. Don't worry, the 24 election is coming. The people of Kerala will again give the befitting reply to all these communal forces, be it PFI or RSS or Bajrang Dal or so many.
Sir, being re-elected is no certificate. Being re-elected is no certificate for supporting certain groups which are sectarian and promote violence. I'm sorry. Let me quickly bring in fact, M.R. Venkatesh on this. M.R. Venkatesh, people have elected the left back and therefore they are fine. You cannot argue these points, according to Professor Vashni.
The same Mr. Vashni did not argue the same point when Narendra Modi got elected in 2011 and 2012. He was repeatedly pointing out about the Gujarat and Gujrat violence. So by that logic, he must say that the people of Gujarat have elected Narendra Modi. We must keep quiet.
No.
And 2014 and 2019,
everybody knows violence.
Sir, we also know, sir. We also know about Kerala. You have never gone to Kerala. I go to Kerala very often. So please don't try to give this all set of bunkum statements. If you are determined to make an ass of yourself, you can make it, sir, on Friday. But I will have to tell you. Please.
You have spoken.
I may be doing bunkum.
Okay, let him make his point, sir. Let him make his point. You can respond to him. Mr. Vashni, you can respond to him. Let him make his point. Mr. Vashni, I'll come back to you.
Lower his feeder.
One by one. We have time.
The RSS have not fought. The RSS has not fought against the divisive tendencies. In fact, they create the divisive tendencies.
Okay.
No. The point is, Madhav, there is a left-wing terrorism, which is Maoists.
Everybody can see that
fighting the
orientation.
Okay, gentlemen, please. I will be forced to lower both faders. I don't want to keep doing that. Professor Vashni, let Mr. Venkatesh make his point. For the fifth time, I will come back to you. I will give you a chance to rebut. M.R. Venkatesh now.
Indisciplined this man has, because he's a leftist, he can't be indisciplined like this.
M.R. Venkatesh. Floor is yours, M.R. Venkatesh. Floor is yours. Carry on, please.
There is a left-wing terrorism. The Maoists, the ultra-leftists, they have all been flourishing in this country. And why is it they are flourishing is because the state has been reluctant. And why is it that the state is reluctant is because the media, the intelligentsia and probably sections of polity is being controlled by them. So this is why I say that we need to crack down on the leftists before we have a crackdown on the real terrorists. Unless these guys are kicked out of the country and the law of the land is taken to a logical conclusion, these type of terrorist activities will continue, and nothing will explain to you when the barbaric act in Kerala, the left protects their PFI. You will see Mr. Vashne talking about 40 years old history. He is his grandfather who says what happened when Nehru's time, what happened in Nehru's time. We are now in Modi's time, sir. You have to talk about the current. And the current is that your government in Kerala is in close cahoots with the PFI terrorists. They protect them in all manner. They give them intellectual firepower. They give you media firepower. They give you governmental firepover. And that is how PFI has grown in Kerala. Now the next thing is, if you want to really attack the PFI, the government of India must see to that the leftists are negated and they are neutralized.
Okay.
Unless these leftists are
Professor Vashni. Okay. Professor Vashni. Professor
Please
Vashni.
ban them. Please ban all criminal organizations. PFI.
No, we will
Please
defeat-
ban PFI. Please ban all criminal
I agree with you. I agree with you. PFI has to be banned, but
70
why do you bring it to let's go ban करो ना.
Ban all of them. Save India. Save India from terrorism. Save India from communism. Save India from economic plunder in favor of few capitalists. Save India from communism, terrorism, economic plunder.
Nail them, and unless they do it, these people will be creating India into a land of terrorists. This nonsense has to go on.
The Constitution of India don't allow any brand
We
of
need to stop
communism.
that.
The Constitution of India don't allow any brand of terrorism.
Don't say communism. You are
stop
people
them.
are the biggest terrorists. The leftists are the biggest
Let me
terrorists.
quickly bring, let me quickly bring in Advocate Shahid Ali also into this debate. One second, please. One second, let me conduct this debate, Mr. Khan. Advocate Shahid Ali has not yet spoken for some time. Advocate Shahid Ali, one question to you, and I'm going to read out from these very same remand notes. They refer to, of course, a lot of the funding that's coming into this country. I'm not going to go into those specifics, but I want to read out some small points as far as CA is concerned, because, and this is important, Parvez Ahmed, they talk about and say that he had participated in the CA protest. It's important to mention that OMS Salam, the Vice Chairman and Presently Chairman, Mohammad Ali Jinnah, General Secretary, other PFI members admitted in their statements that they had participated in the anti-CA protest. OMS Salam also admitted that the PFI had conducted the protests across India. Now, the simple point that we are raising is this, that is the role of the PFI only to create disaffection, only to raise issues on which they can create a communal divide? Because time and again, if you look at all of these remand notes, there appears to be a pattern to only deepen the fault lines in our society, Advocate Shahid Ali.
Madhav, my answer again is the same. Remand papers are not gospel truth. What evidences NIA has collected so far and the discussion which is going on over here, what appears from this is that whosoever is in power, for him everybody is terrorist. Whosoever may threaten to them, whosoever may put any kind of challenge to them. So this is not fair that you have been saying to everybody that you are terrorist, left is terrorist, PFI is terrorist, but RSS is not terrorist because they are in power. So this kind of thing should not be done. Let all these investigating agencies
the simple
to
point being made by
perform,
several
to do their work
independently
without any kind of
individuals of PFI, there are charge sheet individuals of all of these other political parties, but the point that is being made is about conviction. All right, quick closing comment from Rahul Ishwar. Quick closing comment.
Please remember, there is a difference between community organization and communal organization. We had a Muslim League peoples of Kerala who said, if Holy Makkah decides to attack India, me and my family will stand guard for India and attack them back. So we have a great legacy of Indian Muslims in Kerala. Similarly, pluralistic Hindus, similarly Christians. So please remember, this pseudo-secular narrative of blind is absolutely wrong.
Completely out of time on this debate. Completely out of time. I'd in fact want to close. I'm sorry, sir. We have no time left. Rahul Ishwar, M.R. Venkatesh, Sushil Pandit, Professor Dinesh Vashni, Akhil Khan, as well as Advocate Shahid Ali. We'll have to close this debate here. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, moving on to debate number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, amidst a lot of back and forth, it's now confirmed that Rahul Gandhi won't be contesting the party president polls. Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot today said that he will contest the election and Rahul Gandhi won't be in the fray. The nomination begins tomorrow and Ashok Gehlot is certainly feeling his form.
कि गांधी परिवार कोई व्यक्ति चुनाव नहीं लड़ेगा, ये मैं पहले कह चुका हूँ। मैं अपनी बात पर अडिग हूँ। मैं गई इसलिए था, यात्रा मैंने भाग भी लिया और साथ में मैंने रिक्वेस्ट भी करी कि जब तमाम प्रदेश कांग्रेस कमेटी है प्रस्ताव पास करी आपके लिए, तो आपको उनकी भावना समझनी चाहिए। उन्होंने कहा नहीं, मैं उन सब की भावनाओं का सम्मान करता हूँ जिन्होंने प्रस्ताव पास किए उनकी। बाकी जो आप लोग जो भी मुझे कह रहे हैं, मैं सबकी भावना का सम्मान करता हूँ, पर मैंने एक बार निर्णय किया, मैं उस निर्णय में अडिग रहना चाहता हूँ।
Well, it's believed to be more of a selection of Ashok Gehlot rather than an election. The Congress may call this proof of democracy with Rahul staying away from the election, but the BJP alleges that Gehlot would only be a stooge and it will be Sonia and Rahul calling the shots. Listen in.
While Congress upholds democracy outside the party, even within the party, there is so much of democracy. We are the only political organization that actually elects its president.
My sincere appeal as a president of Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee, we want Rahul ji to take over. It is the request of the people of this country, the party, the cadres. He is working hard. He is doing his best efforts to keep the party and the country united.
As all as fast, as per me, whoever becomes the president, he'll be remote controlled by 4 people, 2 Gandhis, 2 Vadras. They'll sit on a dining table and decide what president has to do. But what I feel, Rahul Gandhi is scared of facing another defeat. He doesn't want to face another defeat because everyone knows that 2024, they are again going to lose election. And all those elections which come before 2024.
Even as questions are being raised on the fairness of the poll process, Times has accessed an order for gagging the party spokespersons and communication team that clearly asked them to not voice their personal preferences. Now, this comes after party spokesperson Gaurav Vallabh yesterday taunted Shashi Tharoor, who's also a contender for the top job. Vallabh said that Tharoor's only major contribution has been sending letters to Sonia Gandhi when she was hospitalized. Let's listen into what the BJP and Congress have had to say on this gag order.
No, I agree with Jairam Ramesh. If everybody speaks, there will be tremendous confusion. So I think it's necessary to have some kind of discipline on this important issue. And I'm glad he's said this, and he would have said this only after having taken permission from the Congress president.
देश की वर्ल्ड की सबसे बड़ी डेमोक्रेसी भारत और उसके अंदर एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी जो डेमोक्रेसी का नाटक कई दिनों से कर रही है, जिन्होंने कई दशकों से अपनी पार्टी के अंदर डेमोक्रेसी दफन कर दी हुई है। डेमोक्रेसी कहीं सचमुच कांग्रेस में ना आ जाए और कहीं कठपुतली की जगह, रिमोट कंट्रोल की जगह पांव पे चलने वाला अध्यक्ष ना बन जाए। इस चिंता में सर्कुलर से सर्कुलर निकाले जा रहे हैं। ये नॉमिनेशन है कि इलेक्शन है?
News Hour at 9. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Let's take this across to our guest. Joining us with us is Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP. Also with us is Ishan Rajiv Tyagi, a political analyst. Joining us also is Suman C. Raman, who is a political analyst. But I first and foremost want to go across to Vivek Bansal, member of the CWC. Vivek Bansal, questions that are being asked by many is that is this a foregone conclusion? What's happening in the form of an election is at least both the members, of course, have gone ahead and met Sonia Gandhi, but one of them in particular, Ashok Gehlot, many believe is the official representative of the Gandhi family. So isn't it more of a selection than an election in that sense? Vivek Bansal.
I think this is more of a speculation and conjecture on the part of opposition parties and in particular BJP. Let me tell you, I just heard one of their spokesperson talking about democracy and democracy being sham, something to this effect in this election process in the Congress party. I would like to tell him in all earnestness, this, even if we take this that this is a sham or this is the election process of ours, they don't even have this. BJP can BJP claim itself that they have this system? Can BJP claim that we get our leaders selected, we get our delegates selected from all the states, from all the districts, and after that electoral college is constituted and this president, All India president is elected. Now they are saying that Rahul Gandhi is feeling shy, he is not putting his foot forward because he has foreseen defeat. This is all very, very, I must say, cocky on their part and arrogance personified. For them, it's a pregone conclusion. It probably seems they don't respect the electorate when they say that in 24 Congress party is going to lose.
Okay.
So elections, you see,
let's get the response. All right, direct. You're taking the fight right to the BJP. I'm going to allow Sanju Verma to respond to that. Sanju Verma.
Thank you, Madhav. Madhav, let me be very honest. You know, when the Congress speaks of internal party democracy, I don't know, whether it is funny or whether it is tragic. The limited point is this. BJP as we know it today was born in April 1980. We are barely a 42-year-old party. Whereas the Congress has a 137-year-long history. And in the last 137 years, there have been only 5 Congress presidents who were elected in a bona fide manner. Whereas, tell me honestly, anybody on this panel, we don't know whether JP Nadda, after his term expires, whether he will get a second term or who will come in, assuming there is somebody else who takes position at the helm of affairs as national president of the BJP. Before JP Nadda, there was Amit Shah. Before Amit Shah, there was Rajnath Singh. Before Rajnath Singh, there was Nitin Gadkari. Before Nitin Gadkari, there was again Rajnath Singh. And prior to that, there was LK Advani. So, in its short history of 42 years, BJP has had 9 presidents with 2, Amit Shah and Rajnath Singh serving 2 terms each. Whereas in its 137-year-old history, Sonia Gandhi, suo moto, de facto, has been the Congress president for over 2 decades with effect from 1998, barring a short period when Rahul Gandhi came in as president in 2017 only to vanish because he realized that it's better to be in power without accountability, without transparency and without responsibility. And I will just end by saying one thing, whether it is Ashok Gehlot or whether it is Shashi Tharoor. The fact of the matter is that who are the people who are going to decide on the Congress president's final election? It is 9,000 Congress delegates. And all these Congress delegates are basically people who are hardcore Sonia Gandhi loyalists.
Okay.
So, Gehlot or Shashi Tharoor is not...
Let me quickly bring in others.
The de facto head is a Gandhian.
All right, let me quickly bring in others. Subansi Raman, the BJP says that this, criticism is not valid because look at the number of years, in the last 20 years, the number of people who have headed the BJP and look at what has happened in the Congress party where Sonia Gandhi has been the de facto chief for over 20 years. But I want to ask you a simple question, sir. In a democratic fight, if there is an election taking place and perhaps there is enough reason for you or anyone to believe that there is one happening, ostensibly there is a race happening, why issue a gag order in the middle of this? Why say that spokespersons and panelists should not speak? Can there be a democracy without free speech?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. You don't want mudslinging campaign to go on in the public domain in the middle of an election process. As you know, any democratic election, anyone who allows to who contests would like to win, and therefore they would like to make campaign speeches, maybe to small audiences. They would like to conduct some kind of a program to get their message across. So therefore it is natural. I mean, I don't blame the BJP for not understanding this. Sanju Verma, I'm amazed that she says 9,000 people are going to just vote for a Congress president. How many people selected Mr. JP Nadda? 2 people. Was he elected? So I think 9,000 is, I don't know how many times 2, 4,500 times more than the number of people who actually have put Mr. Nadda in his chair. So I think it's a little bit thick for the BJP to be actually even participate in a program like this or in a debate like this to talk about a democratically conducted election within the party when it is completely sort of, I don't know, I mean, when was, who was the last elected president by
quick response to Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma, you're criticizing the Congress for holding internal elections, but internal elections are not held with the BJP. That's the charge of Sumansi Raman. Please respond.
You know, Madhav, Sumansi Raman can have an opinion. He can continue to hallucinate that in BJP presidents are selected and not elected. But the fact of the matter is that BJP is the only pan-India
if you can give me the election results.
Internal democracy in the true sense of the term. Mr. Raman, I did not interrupt you. Stop ranting and stop heckling me. I did not heckle you. Please have the decency to listen.
My question is, how many people voted for Mr. Nadda?
I'm not here to listen
how many people voted for Mr. Nadda? Tell us the date of the election.
Please keep quiet.
Tell us the date of the election.
You spoke enough, Madhav.
Okay, let her finish. Let her make a point. But he's asked you some questions. Please respond to his point. He's saying, when has there been an election within BJP?
She is not answering.
I am not obliged to respond and give him an answer that he so desires. which is music to his ears. I will respond in a manner I deem fit. And let me be very clear, Madhav. Anybody with basic common sense of Indian politics knows whether it is Gehlot or whether it is Shashi Tharoor, the de facto head will be a Gandhi. It ends there. And also let me remind you what Rahul Gandhi said. He said anyone who becomes the Congress party president needs to represent the Congress party's ideology and its larger vision. So Mr. Sumam C. Raman, let me ask you, what is the ideology of the Congress party apart from saying Modi, 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 Amit Shah, Amit Shah, Amit Shah on every debate? What is the larger vision of the Congress
ideology
party?
Let me bring it.
of the
Do you have
Congress
any
party
idea?
is
What is
again
the common
something.
minimum program
1
of
second,
the
she's asked me a
Congress
question.
party?
Madhav, she's asked me a
What is the
question. I
ideology
need
of
to
the
answer.
Congress party? What is the
Madhav, she's
vision of
asked
the
me a
Congress
question.
party?
You have to give me time to respond.
Apart from
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to come back to you guys. I'm going to come back to both of you. I'm going to come back to Sanju as well as Suman Siraman. Sumant, I'm going to come back to you. I just want to quickly bring in before we run out of time. Ishan Rajiv Tyagi, he's not got a chance to speak yet. So Ishan Rajiv Tyagi, one simple question that I want to ask you is that this note which has been put out, which asks the spokespersons to not speak out in public, it comes out to say that elections must be seen to be free and fair. Why this seen in an highlighted, italicized way? Because questions that will be asked then, are they not free? That it has to be reiterated that they have to be seen to be free. Ishan Rajiv Tyagi.
First of all, Madhavji, I would like to thank you and your team for inviting me to speak on this channel. And I'll put forward my voice, but then first of all, we need to address a few points here. First of all, Sanju Verma ji did not just ran away from the question that how many delegates and how many members of the BJP selected Mr. Rajnath Singh, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, Mr. Amit Shah, Mr. JP Nadda, and when will the BJP hold elections for their presidential candidate? The thing is, Sanju Verma ji is so much influenced from our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, that she herself is running away from the questions. This is similar to how Narendra Modi ji runs away from the questions of unemployment, from the questions of price rise, from the questions of growing communal violence in the country.
Okay.
Now she asked one more question. What is the vision of Congress? Let me tell you the vision of Congress. Let me just a second.
Run away from my question, sir. Please answer my question.
Madhavji, I'll come back.
Since you say you're qualitatively different.
I'm not running away from that question.
Please answer that
I'm
first.
not running away from that
Please
question.
answer that question, Mr. Tyagi.
Let me tell you. Yes, definitely I will answer. This is because the the candidates should be given their time and their platform to voice for their campaign, right? Like if I am running for the presidential post of XYZ organization.
So why gag them? That's exactly the question. Why are they being gagged?
Myself,
why are they being gagged?
Right?
Why are these individuals being gagged?
No,
That's exactly my question. Why not allow them to voice their opinion? Can you explain that, Mr. Tyagi?
The BJP and the media will not decide who is being gagged or who is not being gagged.
No, we are not deciding.
Right? No one is being
you want
gagged.
to read out
Everyone has been given a fair chance.
Mr. Jairam Ramesh?
No, everyone has been given a fair chance.
Yeah,
everyone has been given a fair chance. Mrs. Sonia Gandhi has asked Madhusudan Mistry ji to contest to conduct a fair poll, to conduct a fair election in the Congress for the presidential post. She has herself said. So what's the problem? The second thing is,
no, the problem is just this. The problem is when you say it is a free and fair poll and you want it to be seen as being a free and fair poll.
No.
Is it not free and fair that it has to be seen?
Let me tell you the vision of Congress.
Congress. No, sir, please, Mr. Tyagi, please spare us the sermons. Please spare us the sermons and answer some specific questions. I think I'm going to take this right back to Suman Siraman. Suman Siraman, you wanted to respond to what has been said earlier by Sanju Verma, and also at the same time a simple question to you that I've asked Mr. Tyagi and he's not been able to answer. Election should be seen as being free and fair.
My time, please.
No.
Why do they have to be seen? They should be free and fair. This is not a judicial commission inquiry, sir, or a judicial proceeding. Suman Siraman.
Elections are free and fair.
And you know,
calm down, Mr. Tyagi. Let me go across to Suman Siraman now. Suman Siraman.
Madhav, 1 minute, Mr. Tyagi, 1 minute. Madhav, I think it is very sad and it is an indictment of the media that a statement actually has to say from the party has to say the election should be seen to be fair. And
Of the
that is
media or of the
basically
party?
For the media. It's
How is it an
basically
indictment
because
of the media?
However fair the elections are,
Mr. Subhasi Raman, the
media
statement is
will
issued
spin
by
a
the
story
Congress
around
party
it.
and you will indict
Rahul
the
Gandhi
media.
Selected,
I think that
Rahul
is.
Gandhi selected Ashok
You know,
Gehlot.
the media had nothing to do
Rahul
with
Gandhi
demanding an election
selected
within the
Ashok
party.
Gehlot.
The media
He is
did not
going to
announce the
remote
election.
control him.
No, it is not the Congress. It is not the media
No,
that
they
spoke
are
out of turn. It was the
conducting-
Congress spokespersons,
they
and yet you will choose to put the entire blame at the doorstep of the media.
No.
I mean, this is amazing. This is the most amazing. This is the most amazing defense I've seen, Mr. Subhasi Raman.
Spinning what is a standard statement. Do you know something? Do you know something, Madhav? In a
Please answer the
company,
question then, sir.
before
Please answer the
results
question.
are announced, there is something called a silent period. That is called, there is something called a silent period. Sanju Verma, with her long experience in the corporate world, will know about a silent period. You don't throw stuff around before.
You know the silent period. The silent period.
event.
Before I go across to Sanju
Here,
Verma,
they don't
Subhasi Raman, for your information, that of our viewers, the silent period in normal elections is 48 hours. In this case, you want a silent period of 3 weeks. That's the only difference. Sanju Verma.
No.
Mother,
No, that is.
Mother, I
that
just
is-
want to
that
make
is
one
for
very
party to
limited
decide,
point.
Sir, that is not.
It's okay,
you
sir.
know-
You made your point. Now listen to the response. You asked questions of the BJP.
Please,
Sanju Verma,
Mr.
please
Raman,
respond.
Sanju Verma is still not.
You know, can you
answered
please,
the
Mother,
question.
ask
How many
Raman
votes
stop
did
getting
this
Go ahead and give the floor is yours, Sanju Verma. Go ahead.
President of the BJP.
Okay. Mother, the fact of the matter is, if you look at the manner in which, there's a whole battalion out to support Ashok Gehlot, and the fact that she's been asked to step down as the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, I feel it's a fixed match, and at the end of the day, even before the elections are held, by the time nominations are filed between September 24th and September 30th, I'm telling this on your channel with a lot of responsibility.
This is similar to how Amit Shah ji fixed match.
Will exit the race.
Okay.
Amit Shah fixed
Shakti
the
Tharoor will
match.
exit
All right,
the
Mr.
race.
Bansal,
Even
Mr.
before
Bansal,
the race.
last word to you, sir. What about this gag order? How do you see this gag order? Because this is not something that is usual for the Congress party, many would say. Of course, there are instances of Congress attempting to gag its own spokespersons after the 2019 Lok Sabha election and so on and so forth. But many would say that if there is a free and fair election happening, why shut down spokespersons?
You see, you are unnecessarily just imputing motives into this statement. Let me just cite you an example, something to this sort only. When we say in law also, in justice also, justice should not only be done, it should appear to be done. So it doesn't mean that justice is not being imparted. There is a saying, there is a system, in fact, people, because we believe in internal democracy, we believe in fair and free elections. So unless and until some spokesman tend to take some line.
Completely out of time, Mr. Bansal. Can the People's Court be compared to the court of the judiciary? Is there a comparison to be made over there? That's a question that we leave our viewers with. We're completely out of time. I'd like to thank all our panelists for joining us, Mr. Tyagi as well as Subhasi Raman, Sanju Verma and Vivek Bansal. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
The News Hour at 9 will be right back after the break.
The most pressing issues, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
News Hour at 9.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah has launched a scathing attack at Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar during his Bihar visit. Addressing a rally in Purnia, Shah said that BJP will end Nitish ka Jangal Raj. In a big win for Uddhav camp, the Bombay High Court has allowed the Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena to hold its annual Dashera rally at the iconic Shivaji Park ground in Mumbai on October 5. NCP has slammed Maharashtra CM Eknath Shinde and son Shrikant after images of his son sitting on CM chair surfaced. However, Shinde's son has refuted the claims. In a huge embarrassment for the Congress, ED has summoned Sudarshan Reddy, J. Geeta Reddy and Shabbir Ali for questioning in connection with the National Herald case. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy has launched the YSR Cheuta program in Kuppam and said the Kuppam is the land of development and this program is to assist the poor.
You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.
You are watching the News Hour agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Navratri is around the corner and there is reason to worry for the Hindu community in the UK. And the reason is the growing frenzy being whipped up against them and blatant Hinduphobia. Today we give you evidence of how the UK hate attacks that have been seen over the last 22 days on temples and houses of the Hindu community were pre-planned and much bigger than we can imagine. No, this wasn't a reaction to a cricket match, as you have been told so far, but a call to coordinated violence. Times Now has accessed a series of messages that were exchanged and circulated by Muslim radicals on Instagram, which made their plans crystal clear. One man says in this message, and I quote, "Find them and chop them up. That's the only way they are gonna learn. These extremist Hindus are taking the piss," unquote. Another Insta post chillingly declares, "We will soon repeat what we did to you in Kashmir in Leicester too." It was this mobilization that then resulted in the attack not just on the temple in Leicester, but also on Hindu homes, Hindu shops, Hindu garages and their vehicles in Leicester and in Birmingham. Times Now has learned that any house or car that even had a symbol like an Om or an idol of Lord Ganesh was marked out and broken into. Several Hindu families have also been forced to migrate out of Leicester because of the frenzy that is being fanned against them. That's right. The blueprint is the same. The same hate that was drummed up in Kashmir in the 90s is now being replicated by the same kind of radical groups, but this time their playground is UK. First demonize Hindus as cow worshippers and idol worshippers, then mark out their houses, attack their places of worship. Eerily, the Kashmir Leicester analogy that is being predicted on social media is then being systematically executed in real life in UK.
It all really comes down to, on the 4th of September, a Hindu festival being held. There were some young men at this festival. They were nervous about the presence of what they're describing as Islamist youths in a car with balaclavas circling the area. These young men then attacked the young men at the festival. They then call these young men that were at this festival RSS Hindu extremists and even RSS terrorists. Obviously, RSS is not a prescribed terrorist organization. Boys that were photographed as being members of RSS have been interviewed by the police. They've given their own police statements, and they do not know what RSS even is. That then turned into attacks on homes, cars, anything that had symbols that were related to Hinduism were attacked. Families that have been attacked have left the area for a number of days, returned and then removed their visible symbols from their cars and their houses for fear of their safety. We have images of doors that have been kicked in and images of vandalized cars. We have police reports. And we have screenshots from inside the groups that are organizing the protests saying we're going to chase the Hindus out, we're going to do to them what we did to them in Kashmir.
So it's not just researchers like Charlotte Littlewood, members of the Hindu community, who are saying this. UK Member of Parliament Robert Blackman has raised the issue inside Parliament. He's also written to the UK Home Department, flagging off how there are growing targeted attacks against Hindus by quote-unquote Islamist extremists. The realization and recognition of this hostility is growing worldwide. By remaining in denial even now, even despite all the evidence at hand, aren't we actually throwing the people who have already been made to live in fear further in harm's way?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us now, Majid Hydari, political analyst, leader of the Congress, Kamar Zaman.
With Durga Puja around the corner, preparations for the festival are in full swing in West Bengal's Kolkata. Sri Bhumi Sporting Club, which enthralls the audience with its theme every year, has set the theme of Puja Pandal as Vatican City this year. Union Home Minister Amit Shah is on a 2-day visit to Bihar to prepare the party for becoming a formidable force ahead of 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Online food delivery platform Swiggy services in Tamil Nadu's Chennai have been affected as delivery agents continue to protest against the new pay structure. A Swiggy delivery agent in Chennai said that working for 16 hours a day is not possible and they are protesting for their rights. A dead body was found buried in railway quarters. The deceased had been missing since the 4th of September. The body has been exhumed for post-mortem. Search for the accused is underway.
With Durga Puja around the corner, preparations for the festival are in full swing in West Bengal's Kolkata. Sri Bhumi Sporting Club, which enthralls the audience with its theme every year, has set the theme of Puja Pandal as Vatican City this year. Union Home Minister Amit Shah is on a two-day visit to Bihar to prepare the party for becoming a formidable force ahead of 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Online food delivery platform Swiggy services in Tamil Nadu's Chennai have been affected as delivery agents continue to protest against the new pay structure. A Swiggy delivery agent in Chennai said that working for 16 hours a day is not possible and they are protesting for their rights. A dead body was found buried in railway quarters. The deceased had been missing since the 4th of September. The body has been exhumed for post-mortem. Search for the accused is underway.
The most pressing issues, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivchankar.
With Durga Puja around the corner, preparations for the festival are in full swing in West Bengal's Kolkata. Sri Bhumi Sporting Club, which enthralls the audience with its theme every year, has set the theme of Puja Pandal as Vatican City this year. Union Home Minister Amit Shah is on a two-day visit to Bihar to prepare the party for becoming a formidable force ahead of 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Online food delivery platform Swiggy services in Tamil Nadu's Chennai have been affected as delivery agents continue to protest against the new pay structure. A Swiggy delivery agent in Chennai said that working for 16 hours a day is not possible and they are protesting for their rights. A dead body was found buried in railway quarters. The deceased had been missing since the 4th of September. The body has been exhumed for post-mortem. Search for the accused is underway. Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching News Now Overnight with me, Priya Bhel. First up, the top stories that made headlines during the day. Kerala police have arrested 171 PFI activists in connection with arson and violence across the state. 150 cases have been registered, 368 activists placed under preventive detention. PFI members clash with Kerala police during violent protest in Kottayam. 12 officials injured during the clashes. According to government submission to the Kerala High Court, 71 state transport buses were vandalized during violent protests by PFI activists today. Kerala High Court has registered a suo motu case against PFI's call for a bandh in the state. PFI leaders had called for a strike against the arrest of its members. Addresses and details of several leaders from a community found during NIA raids. According to some reports, recovered documents suggest that PFI goons were targeting some leaders. Incriminating documents recovered from arrested PFI activist Sirajuddin exposes conspiracy to kill several leaders. Planning of NIA raids against PFI was on for the last 3 to 4 months. The plan was developed in a way that the action across 11 states was coordinated and executed at the same time to prevent cadre from fleeing. 2 petrol bombs were hurled at BJP office in Coimbatore following the raids on PFI leaders and the protests that ensued. PFI members are also said to have gone berserk in Kerala's Aluva. Protests turned violent and public property was vandalized. Karnataka has started the process to ban PFI, says the state home minister. UK MP Robert Blackman has written to the Home Secretary highlighting the increase in hate attacks on Hindus, urging for increased security to them and their places of worship. British MP speaks exclusively to Times Now, says 46 arrests made in the case, but not one of them was a Hindu. He also raised the matter in the UK Parliament. Anti-Hindutva protest staged outside Indian High Commission office in London. Protesters also raised slogans against Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Hate attacks in UK passed off as protests after temple attacks in Leicester. Radicals term attacks a reaction to Sadhvi Ritambara's event that was cancelled even before it was to take place. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar recalls his first meeting with the Prime Minister, says he liked Prime Minister even before he had met him. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls out urban naxals and anti-development elements for stalling construction of Sardar Sarovar Dam for years. NCP slams Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde and his son Shrikant after images of Shrikant sitting on Chief Minister's chair come to fore. Supreme Court stayed proceedings against former Karnataka Chief Minister and senior BJP leader B.S. Yediyurappa in an alleged corruption case. National Green Tribunal imposes a fine of above 2,000 crore rupees on Punjab for not managing solid and liquid waste, causing harm to the environment. Gurugram faces severe waterlogging after day-long rains. Locals fight massive logjam and knee-deep waterlogging as cops struggle to decongest roads. Miscreants attacked AIMIM party offices in Thane's Mumra area. 2 party workers were injured in this attack and complaint was registered at local police station. Union Home Minister Amit Shah was in Bihar on a 2-day visit to give further impetus to the party prospects. During the visit, he launched a scathing attack at Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. Addressing a public rally in Purnia, he said that BJP will end Nitish's Jungle Raj. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be attending National Conference of Environment Ministers in Gujarat. His address, he said, only green growth is the way forward. Hindu Mahasabha of Uttar Pradesh has returned to Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath demanding that the name of Lucknow be changed.